I got to play Sonic Rumble early due to being accepted as a closed beta participant, and I gotta say, this game is such a surprise. I wasn't too excited about the Sega and Rovio acquisition or even about this game after seeing the frame drops in the announcement trailer, but I must apologize because Sega, Sonic Team, and Rovio are straight up cooking. Sonic Rumble is actually amazing, and since probably not many people got to play it, allow me to lay down the glaze on Sweet Mountain. And without further ado, let's get ready to rumble! Sonic Rumble starts off with a cute little intro setting up the stage of the game. Essentially, in a classic Eggman move, Eggman sends an invitation to Sonic and maybe his friends to come over and play with toys. Like, what type of grown man plays with Sonic toys? Anyway, whoever's toy collects the most rings wins. Sonic, of course, accepts the challenge. So us, the 32 players participating in this battle royal, are basically controlling Sonic toys on Eggman-built playsets trying to collect the most rings. Even though my headcanon believes Sonic is making a Shadow toy do this, and it's so adorable. And as you can see, Sega, I mean Eggman, must really love Green Hill. But I do too. Afterwards, the game starts with a small tutorial, and please do not let this tutorial discourage you, because even though it explains the controls and basic rules of the game well, it highlights one major issue with the game, and that's the game's lack of speed. And it's even more prevalent here due to the lack of obstacles and players. But trust me, this game is truly great. Once you get into actually playing against others in ranked survival mode, it's just so fun. There are 3 rounds with 16 players being eliminated from round 1, then 8 players being eliminated, then finally the battle for ranks 1 to 3. The first round is a huge race through familiar Sonic zones. In the beta, there was a run course at Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Seaside Hill, Sky Sanctuary, 2 different run courses at Starlight Carnival, Lava Mountain, and Frozen Factory. And each one of these run courses are filled with their own gimmicks, making them such a blast to play through. Some huge highlights for me were Sky Sanctuary. I love the usage of its bouncing clouds, Chemical Plant and its Mega Mac filled slides, and Seaside Hill because I just love getting blasted with Sonic Heroes nostalgia. Pause. I would have loved to show some footage of that particular minigame, but sadly, over half of the footage I recorded got messed up and is not usable. But the running minigames were probably my favorite out of all the minigames. The only problem is that I never once lost in the first round and comfortably made it to the finish line every time. Maybe I'm just built like that. Or this could definitely change once the player base builds after its official release. The second round of minigames would feature either one of 2 different survival games, one of 2 different team-based games, or a hunt minigame. The survival minigame set in Green Hill had you running away from the Death Egg robot while it attacked you. At the same time, you could pick up a particular item to then attack other players, making them lose rings. If you fell off the stage twice before 8 other players, you would be eliminated. And not gonna lie, this minigame could at times get pretty intense, but not as intense as the other survival game set in Seaside Hill. This one was the only minigame entirely set in 2D and had you running away from a giant chopper, giving me PTSD of the chopper in Sonic Generations. But definitely a missed opportunity to not include that rolling boulder ding, because that low-key scared me back in Sonic Heroes. This minigame was probably the hardest one to survive and also would last pretty long. Pause. Towards the end, more and more obstacles would appear and chaos would occur. Like 0.5 seconds slower, I would have been a goner. The team games were probably my least favorite. Frozen Factory would just turn into a giant mess. Ice beams and pinginators are just everywhere. In this game though, you can hit your enemies off the course once they get iced or break your teammates out of their ice prison. The Sky Sanctuary minigame was much better in my opinion. At the start, each team of 8 will be split into 2 teams of 4 and would eventually meet up sometime towards the middle of the course. Teams will have to push balls in holes, press buttons to open gates, and defeat enemies to open a gate. At the very end, the first 6 from each team to enter these tubes would get to proceed to the final round. And for some reason, this was actually pretty hard. The hunt minigame had players homing attack blossoms to open them up for points while avoiding a spotlight and grabbers, which would result in you losing points. This was pretty fun and a great way to implement Zor's robotic owl in Silent Forest. And yes, Silent Forest, Frozen Factory, Lava Mountain, and Zavok are all in this game. I have no idea why there's so much Sonic Lost World representation, especially when there are so many better Sonic games to take inspiration from. Like, I don't know, even more Sonic Heroes and Adventure representation. And where's the love for Sonic Unleashed? Makes me believe we'll probably get a Sonic Lost World remake or remaster before we'll ever get an Adventure remake or remaster. Hopefully once the game actually releases, we get more Sonic games showcased. The third and final round was a competition to see who would have finished with the most rings. Rings would carry over from the other rounds, so you could definitely have a huge head start in this round depending on your previous performances. There were ring battles at Chemical Plant, Lava Mountain, Frozen Factory, Sky Sanctuary, and Starlight Carnival. What made these really interesting is that each one was very different. I think because I never got the chance to play the Frozen Factory ring battle. Chemical Plant and Lava Mountain were somewhat similar in which you would collect rings, but towards the end get the opportunity to collect an item that allows you to attack other players to get them to drop their rings. There would even be an indicator for whoever was in first, so you could target that player. Lava Mountain did have a lava rising gimmick in which you would be forced to run up the course or burn. I might have enjoyed these two the most due to having more opportunities to attack players. Your rank would rise and drop rapidly throughout these two. Sky Sanctuary featured a badnik that would be vulnerable at certain times where players could then attack it for rings. But once that period was over, the player had to keep away from it. Get too close, it would suck your rings up. Starlight Carnival was sort of a race. The faster you went throughout the course, the more checkpoints you would hit for rings. That's all the minigames summed up in a computer monitor. But one thing that cannot be overlooked is how amazing the soundtrack is. I had no idea they would go this hard remixing the music for each zone. These Johns are some bangy bangers for real. Chemical Plant and Frozen Factory had me schmoovin' on chaos. Even the menu music was catchy too. The unlockable rewards has something for casual and diehard Sonic fans. So many characters such as Knuckles the Enchilada, Cream the Rabbit, and they didn't forget about Silver. There will most likely be many others such as IDW characters, movie characters, classic versions of the characters, with Jet the Hawk and Blaze already being revealed too. I also love that there are Riders variants for the characters too. That game just oozes with style. Detective Tails and Business Tycoon Rouge from the of Sonic the Hedgehog was in this too, so I can see them pulling from that game a bit more for other characters such as Blaze and Espio, because Espio has to be in Sonic Rumble, right? There are also a lot of different emotes, some being character specific that are unlockable, different trails that players can leave behind while running, stickers that can be used to communicate to others, victory animations that are used after progressing to the next round or done when finishing in the top 3 of the final round, and buddies. And I love that Chao have a presence in this game. I was so hyped when I unlocked the Chaos Chao, and I was even happy to see Omo Chao on mute. Hopefully Chip can be added as a flying buddy sometime in the future. RIP. Many of these can be purchased through the shop by using rings earned in minigames. There's also a season pass, this one in the beta being themed around the Fearless Year of Shadow campaign. There are 2 areas of progression. One is filled up using green orbs earned through playing minigames, and another has to be unlocked with red star rings. And these red star rings can only be earned through challenges, but in order to purchase a panel to play these challenges, you have to earn tokens through the season pass. These challenges are just the minigames but played alone. But by completing the challenge and then playing these minigames 3 times in ring survival mode, you can unlock the hard mode of the challenges. And the hard modes are actually really tough, adding many more obstacles to those minigames. Once you have enough red star rings, you can unlock everything up to the tier you were at in the other area of the season pass. There are also daily challenges where you can earn rewards, but I completely forgot about them during my play sessions. My bad. I gotta say though, I love all the different rewards that can be earned, and the system created here is really addicting. Could this be ruined once the game officially releases? Possibly, but I really hope not. Another thing that is interesting to note is that Ring Survival will not be the only game mode, but there will also be team battles. The ideas and amount of Sonic content that can be pulled from and implemented in this game are endless, from characters and most importantly to new minigame ideas and zones. Why not mix it up a bit and make one of the races a race on extreme gear? Or one of the survival minigames, a terrifying race away from the gun truck throughout City Escape? A Sonic Movie 3 season pass? Like, oh snackazoinks, Sega has a hit on their hands. Oh, and maybe this is a little too late to mention, but I did play this game connecting my PS5 controller to my phone via Bluetooth, and I didn't suffer any technical issues, but that could be because I was playing on an iPhone 15 Pro, so others' experience could definitely be different. Anyway, I can't wait for the official release, and I hope y'all can't either. Thank you for watching, and sayonara, home skillets.